Today on the Basics of Houseplant Care series, I'm going to be talking about watering. And we're going to start off by talking about why you keep plants in their nursery pots. So even though you get a plant that might look like this, you will quickly see that it is actually a plant inside a nursery pot that then sits inside what we call the cachet pot. And the reason why you keep those separate is because one of the most important things about watering plants is that you've got good drainage. If you were to plant this directly into the pot, there's no drainage holes for the water to go anywhere. By keeping them in these nursery pots, you're making sure that you've got the drainage holes that the plant needs to ensure that it's not sitting in water all the time. The next thing to bear in mind is actually what the watering conditions for that plant is. So as with all our plants, when you scan the QR code, it takes you to the page on our website. It tells you how to look after the plant. One of the detailed things on there is watering instructions. So is it a plant that likes to dry out completely? Is it a plant that likes to always be consistently moist? Is it a plant that wants the top 5 or 10 centimetres of soil to dry out before you do so? Now, it's my experience that plants are far more likely to be overwatered than underwatered, and that's because people tend to look at the top of the soil and think it looks dry, I better give it some water, without A, considering what the watering requirements for that plant are, or B, actually seeing if the plant is indeed wet or dry. There's no good just looking at the top. You need to get your finger right down in there. So you'll often see top inch of centimetre dry out, or water when the top 5 to 10 centimetres of soil dries out, which is what some of our plant care instructions do. And you need to get your finger right in there, right into the knuckle, to see whether it's damp. You can't just tickle the top of the pot. That's not going to tell you anything. Now, if you know you are an overwaterer, I highly recommend these. We sell them in the shop, or you can buy them online. It's a water meter, a moisture meter, and basically it takes out all of the guesswork. So all you do is pop that into the plant pot, and it tells you that the plant is moist, dry or wet. And you can see that this one's really wet because I watered them this morning, and there's no need for watering today. Okay, so the next thing to consider is how you actually water. What you never do is leave the plant in the nursery pot inside its cachet pot and water like that. And the reason why is because when the water drains out of those holes at the bottom, all that's going to happen is it's going to sit in the bottom of the pot and the plant is going to end up sitting in water. The correct way to do it is remove the nursery pot completely from the cachet pot, water the plant until you can see water coming out the bottom. Let that drip and drain away, and make sure that all of that water has run through like that before you then pop it back into its decorative plant pot. So that's a very whistle-stop tour guide to watering, and if your plant requires anything different to what I might have just explained, then that will be clear on the QR instructions when you scan the plant. And as with anything else, if you have any questions, please just pop in and ask.